my YouTube friends! Zoom is pretty cool and easy to use for meetings, but if you're the meeting leader or you're using it for teaching, it leaves a lot to be desired. But the OBS Virtual Camera feature offers Zoom users the ability to do so much more. With Zoom, you get one camera. With OBS using the virtual camera, you can have as many as you want. If you want to set up your screen in creative ways and add slide animations and unique placements, well, you can't do that in Zoom, but with OBS and the virtual camera, it's easy. The tools that you get directly in OBS make it easy to Zoom the perfect classroom or presentation, and it will win you the deal and keep your audience entertained every time. I'm going to show you how to do it today, so you know what? Let's get to it! If you aren't familiar with OBS, it's a totally free open source broadcast software. There are links down below in the description so you can download it, install it, and follow along. That is the best way to learn. It's really pretty simple to use, especially as a virtual camera. Let's dig in and I'm going to show you. So OBS operates on a very simple premise. You've got your scenes. You populate those scenes with sources. That would be videos, cameras, images, web pages, whatever you want. Each of those also can include an audio source, which is right here. And then you've got your scene transitions and your control stuff over here. Right here, you're going to have your preview. So if we're going to create our first scene, we can just add a camera. We'll go ahead and add a video capture device by clicking the plus under sources and then going to video capture device. I'm just going to call this camera. Then I'm going to click OK and select the camera that I want right here. And then all I need to do is go down here and I'm going to use a custom audio device, select the microphone that I want to use, and there we go. So now we have a camera in our scene. Very cool, but you can do that in Zoom. So let's create a second scene. We'll go ahead and click the plus here, and maybe in this scene we want to have a second camera that gives us a view of something else, maybe our hands or something like that. That's no problem. We can click the plus, we can go to video capture device, and we could do a second camera right here. Click OK. We could just drop this down and select our second camera. I'll just use this one right here. We can go ahead and configure it so we see whatever the resolution is that we want with this second camera. So there we go, 1920 by 1080. We can point this camera at my hands because maybe I'm doing a demo of playing the piano or something like that. It doesn't really matter. We can go down here and select use custom audio device, and we can select the audio device that we want to use for this particular camera. Now it never likes when I use that one, so we're just going to go ahead and select a different audio device for this particular thing. And there we go. So now we have a second camera set up, and we can combine these cameras in a third scene by clicking on the plus, and we'll just call this combine and click OK. And now in this scene, all we have to do is go to our video capture device, and we can add existing our camera right here. Cool. And then we can click the plus and add our second camera by going to video capture device and adding our second camera, and it'll add it right on top of there. And then we can just shrink this down, put it wherever we want. So if this camera is our hands, it will be able to see our hands. And the best part about this is we don't have to have just this static scene. We can start out here. We can actually highlight the hand scene. And then we can go here, which has all three. But maybe we want our camera, our second camera, to move around the scene. Well, that's not really a problem. What we'll do is right click and we'll duplicate this scene right here. And we'll click OK. And now in this scene 3-2, we'll move the camera up here. So now we see here it's there, and there it's there. And then what we can do is with the move transition installed, which is a totally free plugin that you can download and put on. It's really simple. I've got videos on it. I'll link one at the end of the video. But we're just going to go ahead and add the move transition here by clicking the plus. We're going to go ahead and add the move. Click OK. We can set all this up, but we don't need to. It's pretty much going to do exactly what we want it to do. All we have to do now is switch back and forth between scenes, and you're going to see this move down to here. It's pretty cool. And there we go. So we can kind of move assets around our screens anytime we want. So what if we're giving a demo on an application of some sort or something like that? Well, that's fine. We can click the plus and we could type in here application and click the OK button. And then all we need to do is go ahead and click the plus, and we can add a display capture, or we can add game capture if we're doing a game, or we can add a window capture. So window capture will basically add any window we have opened on our computer. So in this case, I could add the Discord window like that. It's very simple to just add it to our scene right here. And now we have Discord in there. We could use that in conjunction with any of our cameras. So I can go in here and I can load my video capture device. I can add my original camera, put it in the background there, and we could just move it below our window capture, place this anywhere we want, or we could expand our window capture right here to fit the screen. Now we can do that by grabbing any of these dots and moving them around. Or what we could do is grab our window capture, we can right click, go to transform, and we can do a fit to screen, and it'll fit it to the screen in the best way that it knows how, given the fact that it's kind of an odd shape. I can open up my Discord and I can physically change the shape if I want by stretching it out like this to fit the screen. And this is only really a thing that happens when you're doing a window capture. But there we go. Now we've got our window up for Discord, and we can move our camera up here, and we could shrink up our camera so we can just have it down here like that. Very cool. So now we've got this scene here with our hand cam and this one, which will just move everything around. And you can see that move transition stays active, so it will move things around the screen. Makes everything seem smooth and cool and whatever. So this is how you could easily do a demo of an application. Now I don't have to do a window capture. I can go ahead and remove the window capture of that application. I could take my Discord, put it up on one of my other main screens, and then what I could do is click the plus, and I can go to a display capture. I can drop this down, select which display I want to capture. In this case, we're going to capture this one right here. I can click OK, and then I can fit it to the screen and then just bring it below my camera, and there we go. Now I could duplicate this scene really easy, and we can go like that, and then I can move my camera up here on the second one, and now we've got the same kind of thing. We can move our camera around just by creating different scenes and using the move transition. So if we wanted to add a video, simple. We'll just go ahead and put video in here, and I'll click the plus, and all we have to do is go to media source to add a video, and then I'm going to go ahead and browse. We'll select a media source here, and we can loop that video source or whatever we want. We can restart the playback when the source becomes active. So in other words, it will restart at the very beginning every time you come to this scene. Now if you don't have that checked, then it will pick up right where it left off every time you go this scene. You can close it when it becomes inactive, which means it'll go black like that when the video is over or something like that. I'm going to go ahead with restart playback when it becomes active. Click OK. And there we go. We have our video. We can easily add a camera just in case we wanted to do commentary over top of this by just selecting here and going to our camera. Or maybe we want to show our hand movements because we're playing a game or something like that. Well, this would be the hand movement camera. We could place it anywhere we want, just like that. And there we go. Now you're going to notice when I go off of there, then I go back, the video starts right back at the beginning. So you have to change up those settings if you wanted the video to keep playing. So let's say we wanted to duplicate the video one right here and duplicate it. So we have a video 2, and then on video 2 we want to move our hand camera up here. Well, now we could switch back and forth between video 2 and video 1, and you can see that because we are using the move transition, it keeps playing the video without it jumping back to the beginning. So that's really cool. It never closes it out. It just keeps seamlessly playing it. We can add image sources to this as well. So if we click the plus, we can go ahead and we'll add a scene for images. We're going to click that plus and we're going to go into our image right here, and then we can just find an image that we want. So let's use this right here. We'll click open, and there we go. We have an image. We can easily shrink, move, do whatever we want with this image right here. We can add cameras to it. We can add as many images as we want and turn them on and off using this. So if we had 20 different images on a slideshow, we could turn the images on and off and just load them all into one scene. Or we could load all the images into separate scenes if we wanted to, and just switch scenes to change the images. We can also add our camera to this as well. So we'll go ahead and add a camera, and we'll just shrink this up like that. Put it wherever we want. And there we go. We could do the same thing with this by duplicating it and moving this up here. So now we've got camera movement for this with 2 different scenes. We can do this as many times as we want. So we can have 5 different scenes. You can also add browser sources. So what that means is if you have a web page that you want to show up because you're going to do a demo on your web page or whatever, you can easily do that. Let me quickly show you how to do that. We'll go ahead and click and add a new scene. We'll call this browser and click OK. And then all we have to do is click the plus, go to browser source, and you can call it whatever you want so you can remember, and you can tell it what size you want. So if you're streaming in 1920 by 1080, you probably want to put that in here, and then you just want to put your browser source in here. Your browser source can be literally any web page that you want. So if we wanted to do a demo on this right here where we were going to talk about epidemic sound, we can just do a Control-C, come back into OBS, and Control-V. And then all we have to do is if this web page is going to have any audio, you want to control that audio via OBS. Click OK. And there we go. And then what you can do is you can right click on here, go to interact. It's going to bring up this other window here. And you're going to be able to fully interact right on this window right here. So you could do demos on whatever it is that you want to do. And you can easily add your cameras in here as well by going into your video capture device and going to camera and OK. Now, for me personally, I would use browser source in a little bit of a different way. Instead of adding the browser source directly into OBS like I just showed you and having to use that little interact window, I would just use a second monitor, load it up on there, and then use the display capture and then control what you want to do in the web page on the other display. That seems a lot easier than using that little interact window, but I do like to show people that they can directly interact with the web pages that they load into browser source by using the interact window. It's pretty cool stuff. So as you can see, you can pretty much add any source, any windows, and add movement and all kinds of stuff. You could create as many scenes, as many sources, and pretty much animate them using any application, any video, and any images, as well as any web pages or applications that you could possibly ever want to use. And then all of this can just use the virtual camera right into Zoom. So let's go ahead and set that up. All we have to do is go into our settings, and what we want to do is we want to decide on what our video is. Obviously 1920 by 1080 is probably where you want to be. It's where you're going to have the best results. So just change them both to that. You can just click OK and you're done. All you really have to do is turn on your virtual camera. Now that our virtual camera's on, all we have to do is open up Zoom. So once we have Zoom open, we could create a new meeting or join an old meeting. For this purpose, we're just going to create a new meeting, join with computer audio, and that's fine. We're going to go down here and we're going to change this up. So we're going to select video. We're going to go and select the OBS Virtual Camera. So there we go. Now we have our virtual camera loaded in here. And now for audio, what we're going to do is click here and we're going to add our microphone audio like we normally would. So the Camlink Pro audio right here. For the output, you're going to want to use headphones because you don't want it ringing in your ears or anything like that. So now we're all set up. Now we've got our video here and our audio. Let's go ahead and minimize that. And you will see right here that we have a bit of a problem because it's being mirrored. So if we click on the plus here and we go into video settings, we could go and have it not mirror our video. And there we go. Now we're going to be able to see it exactly the same way as it is in OBS. And you'll see that when we change scenes in OBS, it's going to change right here in Zoom as well. There we go. So everything is working exactly as we would expect it to work. And it looks fantastic, as you could see. It looks absolutely amazing. You may have noticed as we added OBS to Zoom, we put our microphone into Zoom as the audio source. That's because the virtual camera is just video, not audio. And that means that if you have videos in OBS that have audio or transitions with audio, none of that is going to come through. If you want the OBS audio, it's a bit more work, but you can set that up using another free application that I'm going to show you right now. But first, I work really hard to try to create content I think you're going to enjoy. Sometimes I hit and sometimes I miss, but it's really hard to know for sure. And that's where you can really help me out. If you're enjoying this video, leave me a thumbs up. And if it's not your cup of tea, that's perfectly fine. Leave it a thumbs down. If every single person watching this video right now leaves it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I'm definitely going to know if this is the kind of content that you want to see. So thumbs up or thumbs down right now. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the video. The audio app is called Voicemeeter Banana. Yeah, it's a goofy name, but it's a pretty powerful tool. There are links in the description so you can grab it as well. Let me show you how it works. So the next phase of the process, once you have Voicemeeter Banana installed, is really easy. So what we're going to do is go into settings, and we're going to go into audio, and we're going to use OBS's monitoring device to send it out to another location. So normally you would monitor using your headphones. In this case, we're going to change that up, and Voicemeeter Banana installed this cable input. It's a virtual audio cable. So we're going to send all of our monitoring to the virtual audio cable. Then we can click apply and OK. So now all we have to do is change the monitoring in all of our audio sources. Usually we don't have monitoring set up at all. It just goes out to the broadcast and we don't have to worry about it. But in this case, we want to send our monitoring to something that's going to create a virtual microphone that we can input into Zoom. So for something like camera right here, we have an audio source right here. All we have to do is click on this. It will bring up our audio source, and we're going to change our audio monitoring from monitor off to monitor and output. Now the reason why we want to use monitor and output is because maybe you also want to make a recording of your presentation. So you want the output to actually produce audio as well. If you just put it on monitor mute output, then the recording isn't going to get any audio. So we're going to change this to monitor and output, which means this microphone for my camera is going to go out. And we want to go to any other applications that have audio that you want to go to your presentation. So in this case, this video has audio, and we can right click on any of the sources here and go to advanced audio properties, and we could take that media source and go to monitor and output. Now we can also monitor and output our second camera microphone, so we have some actual audio here. And you're going to notice when we change monitoring and outputting on this scene or for this asset, in this case our video, if we go into this video right here and we right click and go to advanced audio properties, it retains those. So once you change the monitoring for the source, it goes across all of the different scenes that you have that audio. So now that we have this set up, it's really easy to add this into Zoom. So if we go into Zoom and we create a new meeting, we can join with computer, we could do all that. But we want to go ahead and click this, and as you can see, we don't have any video coming in here. So we need to go and start our virtual camera. Then when we go into Zoom, because we already had it set up before with the OBS Virtual Camera, now we're getting our video. But you'll notice that we are not getting any audio except for the audio from the microphone, which is how we have it set up. So right now we have our audio set up to go to our microphone. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this cable output right here, and then that's going to give us the audio from our scenes here. So we can test that and verify it by going down here and selecting audio settings. And you could bring this up right here. And what we can do is use this test mic. And I'm going to switch this over here so it's going to come out my computer speakers. All right. And now we'll just test the microphone.
This presentation were about discovering all of the Cloak and Dagger gameplay. We'd be sitting here for quite a while.
So there we go. So we can hear that voice coming across from this video into our Zoom. So now we're totally set up and ready to go with a Zoom presentation that's going to have all of our audio. Now, one thing I forgot to mention before is we can actually start and stop media sources. When we select the media source either in the preview window or down here, we get this menu right here so we could start and stop it. So if we're talking about it and we want to pause it for a second, we can easily do that. Everything you could possibly want. But that's how you get your virtual cable in there. Now let's say that you wanted to physically hear your audio. Well, you can easily do that by using the monitoring in here. Usually the monitoring in here is not for your audio. It is for the audio that is coming from your guests or your whoever is in the broadcast. So if you wanted to listen to the actual audio that's going out from your OBS on the virtual cable, that's when you'd have to go into Voicemeeter Banana. And in Voicemeeter Banana, it's pretty simple to set this up. We could go into our stereo input here, and you can see it's already receiving audio from our broadcast in OBS right here. But if you don't automatically get audio from that, you can go into input 1 and just make sure that your cable output is selected. And then on the output side over here, you just want to make sure here in A1 that you select your headphones. And there you go. So now right here, you're going to get Voicemeeter Banana outputting the audio so that you can hear them in your headphones. And now you'll know everything that is playing from the stream or from OBS into here. It's really that simple. Now you're going to be able to make your Zoom broadcasts look and sound amazing. Oh, and by the way, this will work with any application where you add a camera and a microphone. So that means Discord or Teams or pretty much whatever you use. So what sort of broadcast are you putting together on Zoom? Let me know about it down in the comments. And if you want to learn more about the Move plugin, check this video out. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.